Greetings in the love and light of the infinite creator. I am Andrii Zvorygin and joined here with Bill, Adam, and Grace. And we're doing part 2 of our From Pain to Praise session. And so here we are on remembering your divine worth. Kuo on healing the illusion of unworthiness. In this heartfelt teaching, Kuo spoke to one of humanity's deepest pains, the feeling of unworthiness. And notably, unworthiness is also an important aspect of, the blockage of the third eye. So if you want to have your intuitive abilities working, then you need to have a sense of worthiness. They offer compassion for the tears, the self-judgment, and the quiet despair that so many carry, reminding us that these distortions are not signs of failure, but invitations to remember our divine identity. Healing begins, they say, by turning inward with intention, to discover the thoughts that demean the self, and then to view oneself through the eyes of love. Whether through meditation, self-reflection, or the tender gaze of those who cherish us, we can begin to dissolve the stories that bind us. We see your perfection through all of your perceived imperfections. We see the fullness of you, and not the bits and pieces which you think are wrong or inadequate. Through patience and forgiveness, the seeker learns to see themselves as the Creator does, as intentional, radiant, and utterly worthy of love. Key points for seekers with quotes. The pain of self-rejection is universal but transformable. The struggle to discern and discover the immense wealth and deep truth of your own self-worth appears to be a challenge among many of your planet through its history. Feelings of unworthiness are part of the collective human journey. They serve as catalysts of rediscovering love, not only for others, but for the self. So yeah, everyone feels self-rejection. Begin with meditation and gentle inquiry. We would start with the classic suggestion to take oneself into meditation, however doing so with intention of uncovering that which is the sore spot within you. Well, I got a lot of sore spots, I gotta say. What am I telling myself that is demeaning my being? Awareness opens the door to healing. Yes. Enter the silence with purpose of meeting the parts of you yourself have rejected. Does anyone have any such parts they want to share? See yourself. Oh, Grace, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, this I didn't, because for me it was always like before I kind of had like awareness come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And starting on this spiritual journey, it was always everybody else's fault. It was other people were doing things wrong, other people, other selves. If people just did what I wanted them to do, everything would be fine. And
Mm-hmm.
coming to a place of like realizing like, oh, I am a part of the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually it's actually been it was a very freeing thing, right? Now it's not always that way when it comes up today in my life. Sometimes it's like, oh gosh, here I go again. Did it again. But
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing is that like I don't stay there. I don't stay there anymore. I only stay there for the time that's required for the feeling to pass, the emotion to move through me, motion, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the self inquiry is I'm always amazed at the speed with which self inquiry comes. Like, I mean, it used to take me like I would be mad about something and didn't really understand. I couldn't even vocalize it for like maybe 3 months, and then the window
Wow.
passed. The window passed. The window's gone. Right? Like the other
Mm-hmm.
person doesn't even remember that. Right? And so now when I'm coming up, so for me it's usually resistance in my life. Like there really isn't there. That I find that when things come up with other people, with other selves, I know not to act. Like, just don't make it worse. Whatever you do, don't make it worse right now. Just don't make it worse, right? So I'll sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that for my process, what happens is like I like the negative collective comes in. I'm part of the negative collective, and the thoughts are going crazy, and it's all about, if what they're doing to me and blah blah blah. But I've learned to just, because when that would come up, it would like it would paralyze me. I would be in such like, oh, here you go, there you go again,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here you go again. And it's like, no, that's not helpful. That's not
Mm-hmm.
helpful. Like, it's not helpful to now take out a billy bat and beat myself, over the head or across the back.
Right.
That's not
Right.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'm just going to let it pass. The same with any emotion. I'm just going to let these thoughts pass. I see them, they're there. They can be consuming. I know not to engage in anything or make any decisions or actions when that's happening. And then once it's passed, then I can be like, okay, so what's really going on here? Show me, please, just show me. There's
Mm-hmm.
resistance here, there's anger, there's feelings, there's this. Please show me. I want to see. Please help me to see. And it's always that day. Like, I've never had to pose that question and wait days anymore. It's usually within about 45 minutes. Like, I mean, in the beginning it was like hours, right? But it's like the self-inquiry is oh, and the gratitude for these catalysts is like, I would hear people say stuff like that. I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Like, what are you talking about? You're grateful. You're grateful that, like, yeah, like, shut up, right? But and then I experienced it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is awesome. So when I hear like the part that was read before this one, where those quote words are like, we when we get to see and experience your catalyst, it's catalyst for us too. It's like, wow. So, when I'm posing the question to the ether, like it's all like like they're all around me. Like what I see as empty space is not empty space. And it's actually quite comforting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't like, yeah, I don't really, I spoke on a few different parts that were read, but that was what came to me to share. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for your sharing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. We're all on our own kind of journey of growth, and at our own level. And yeah, I was just actually listening, on the radio, because, well, I listen to the Christian radio, but sometimes they have what the kids call talking time. But basically it's like a pastor preaching about something. And then just today, they were one of the things they were preaching on, like in the brief duration that I was in the car, it was exactly about people blaming others for what they've done. And they were bringing up the example of in the Garden of Eden, Adam was like, oh, it's the woman that you gave me that caused me to sin. And the woman was like, it was the snake that caused me to sin. And so it was just like everyone's passing the buck, the blame onto someone else and not accepting it. And so yeah, there is definitely a growth involved in terms of learning to accept that, hey, you know what? I am the creator. I created this situation, or if you want to be the co-creator of the situation. And that when we're blaming the other person, that we're actually just trying to shield ourselves from the hurt of the fact that we're actually responsible. We put ourselves in that situation. Okay, go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, as you were talking, Andre, and describing that, I was like, oh, it's the woman you gave me. Oh, it was the snake. Like,
Yeah.
and so all of this takes place right after they've eaten the apple. So
Yes.
immediately after, like, they're not even done swallowing it, and it's already like, here you go, there you go. You wanted knowledge of good and evil, you've got it, right? Like, how does that apple taste, right?
Yeah. Well,
So yeah.
I think there was a little time delay because, what do you call it? God says, because they realized they were naked and then they hid. And then God came into the garden and he's like, Adam, Eve, where are you? and then they said, "Oh, well, we're naked," and so they were trying to cover themselves up, and then he's like, "Oh, you ate from the tree of knowledge," you know.
Right. Yes. Shame.
Yeah.
So shame was the first thing.
Hmm.
Shame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wild. Okay. Yes. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
Some of these biblical stories just make me cringe. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just like, who the hell made this crap up?
well, I know Kuo did at some point, or Latwi have some explanations in terms of like as a metaphorical story of why it was Eve was because the women are more intuitive, and so they received the fruit of third density first. So the
I
the,
think
the
that was like,
apple was
I think that,
metaphor for entering third density.
yeah, I think that was Kuo's way of saying the dominating males in your society. There are a lot of big assholes that are just out of control.
Maybe. But anyways, so basically Lotwi was saying this is a metaphor for when basically Adam and Eve went from being animals or second density beings to becoming third density, and so they were expelled from the garden, and that was the symbolism of the veil of forgetting descending. Basically, since they were cut off from God now, because the second density entities, God is in the garden. The like a cat or whatever is aware of the infinite creator within all things, and like so is a mouse or a plant or whatever. But it's only after they become individuated as third density beings that they don't remember that it's all interconnected. That was earlier in this session, in part one for the stream viewers. Okay, so let's see if we can make some progress here. We would start with the classic suggestion. Okay, make myself meditate. Do you see the wounds? Do you see these imperfections? Are there words as harsh for you as the ones you chose for yourself? Look at yourself as one who is loved, not as one who must earn love. But I think, are there words as harsh for you as the ones you chose for yourself? So I think that this is where that blame comes in. Perhaps, in terms of that the other person, the other self, is the one you chose for yourself. Replace judgment with wonder. See yourself through the eyes of wonder, through the eyes of appreciation. See yourself as strong and resilient, as intelligent, as beautiful, as important. So yeah, that is really important because we are co-creators, and so when we say something or when we feel something about ourselves, that makes it true. And so we can choose to make something else true by saying, hey, my arm is strong, my arm is healed, and I can do anything and lift as many tree trays as I want. Just got to do it carefully. Yeah. Because well, actually, I talked to my dad, and he had a similar thing, but he did not kind of lower his usage, and he ended up tearing the muscle straight off the bone, and so he lost the muscle, and it just dissolved, and so now he just like can't lift his arm in that way. Yeah, so I'm taking it really seriously to heal properly. Because apparently in our like bloodline or whatever, we're able to use our muscles to the max. Yeah, go ahead, Grace.
I just have a little something on the healing part,
Okay, go ahead.
like in third density with the physical body. So, I mean, everyone here already knows this, but I don't know why I'm saying it. But sleep is essential. Like really getting a lot of sleep, and not being like so like when you're healing, right? Like you've had a surgery or whatever it is, you've injured something. there's like, and my brother's one of these people. He's like, oh, I don't take Advil. I don't take any, I don't want to take any pills. I don't want to, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if the body is in too much pain, it's not going to heal properly. Right. So, if there's anything like, I mean, I take Advil, I take Tylenol, I take that stuff, but I usually try wherever I can to turn to food, food as, like that mimics, because everything that's pills is, it's found in nature. Right. So I do my very best to, pineapple, cherries, almonds, all these things that are full of magnesium and all the other, minerals that I need. But sleep is a big one, and not being in a lot of like, try not to be like, so with the way it was posed to me was, you don't need to be a hero, don't need to be a martyr, right? Like, pain, if you're in pain, you're not going to heal properly. It's okay to take, medication kind of thing. Right. So,
well,
yeah.
I think, everything, there's a balance. You want to have enough pain to remind you not to move your injured limb, for example. So like to keep it steady so that it can heal properly.
That's a really good point. That's what my brother says. He's like, I don't want to take any of that stuff because, I'm probably going to over push myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to injure myself more. He's like, this way I know exactly, I'm in tune with what's happening in my body.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, that's wild. Like,
yeah.
I just,
Exactly.
I love that he has that kind of connection with himself. Right. So, yeah.
And I do have like hops and other like teas to help me sleep. And things like that. That's what I'm drinking right now, actually. And so, yeah, because I do realize that sleep is very important, and I often take a melatonin as well, which also helps with the rejuvenation. And I take the other supplements like zinc and vitamin D and all those other things, and the collagen. So I'm doing all the stuff, and it is healing. It's just like I just have to be really careful about not overworking or overdoing, because basically it's kind of like a 2 steps forward, 1 steps back kind of thing. Especially if I lift something heavy, which is a terrible idea. Like, because like remember I lifted a watering can, not this Monday but the previous Monday, and like that set me back like several weeks. So that wasn't a good idea at all. I'm gonna have to wait, like after the pain subsides. I'm still gonna have to wait another like few weeks at least before doing anything serious, and then like scaling up, a few kilograms at a time before I can do something like a watering can. But yeah, lots of time now. Shift perceptions from criticism to awe. Each flaw becomes a mark of your humanity. Each challenge a sign of your courage to incarnate and learn. Well, it definitely is a mark of my humanity, that I can get injured, because I really did feel somewhat invulnerable, you could say. But hey, at least it didn't get it as bad as Charlie Kirk, right? Yeah. Because like basically in the end of August, there was a lot of people that were having a hard time. And there was actually this guy, Shanghai Panda. He was another big influencer, and he died mid-August. And then I know people were thinking about Trump's health and stuff like that. They were concerned about Trump's health. And then, I got my injury, and then actually Andrew Karibko, which is like he was Putin's biographer, and he got sick for a couple of weeks, and then like a couple of weeks later, or like the following week, Kirk, well, he died, was executed in public on a menorah at the. Did you see that? He was executed at the top of a menorah. That was interesting, anyways. Okay. You are not a cosmic act. Every atom of your being is intentional. Every step up, step down, fall, tumble, peak you climb, all inform your being of your perfection. You're not a cosmic accident. Your life and your every experience within it were chosen with purpose. Even your pain serves your growth. Yep. Yep. I am like so aware now that I can't do it alone. I need to rely on people and believe in people and let them help me. Embrace yourself, knowing that the creator does not make mistakes. You're co-creating that because you are that. You are the creator, and the creator knows its worth and it's boundless. To doubt your worth is to doubt the wisdom of the infinite. Remember, your existence itself is the creator's declaration of value. Live your worth through gentle faith. Please take time in your day to honor and cherish that, not in an egoic way, but in a genuine acceptance that you are divine. Yes. Self-worth is not pride, it is sacred recognition. To honor your divinity is to honor all of creation. The journey requires faith, patience, and forgiveness. We understand that this is a mission most challenging, but my friends, you are strong enough to take this on. We have faith in you, and we have hope that you have faith in yourself because we love you. And that's nice, to hear that they love us. Can I learn to see myself as the Creator does, whole, intentional, and already worthy of love? What do you guys think? Maybe? Okay. Grace, go ahead.
So that part that you just read, like, see yourselves, like, we love you.
Mhm.
And the more often, like with more, the more consistency that I take in spending time in these Love One meetings with all of you.
Mhm.
It because so I'm gonna try and be articulate here. Like when I first discovered like this thing where it's like, oh, like this life is a game. Okay, so like play the game, right? That the whole video game analogy. And we choose these catalysts. In this incarnation, we have different incarnations. And in times of like strife, in times of trouble, in times of stress, in times of anger, in times of like where I'm viewing life as like in a very negative lens, I think to myself, who would choose this? Like who in their right mind would choose this? There is no way that I chose this. That's just like, no, I like who in their right mind would do this, right? And
Yeah.
like I think to myself, like, really? Like that, no, this is so we're and then of course the thinking starts where it's like, this is actually really cruel. This is where my mind will go with it. This is a really cruel existence. Whoever created this video game is like the cruelest, most diabolical, being, entity, person, whatever you want to call it. And this is just like mean. This is just really mean, right? But what started happening for me now, and I can still go there, I don't stay there, which is, beautiful. But what started happening now is like, especially when I hear things like, what you just read, we love you, love yourself like we love you. We care about you. And especially when Quo and like when Ra talks about like, well, more with the Quo ones, I think, where they're like, we get so much because they don't have the same experience that we do. They're not in third density. And they're
Mhm.
like, oh, wow, like, thank you. They're always so grateful.
Mhm.
Quo is always, they're always so grateful
Yes.
with, right? And I'm thinking like, and I heard a channeling the other day, a quote, and I think it was from September, and it was talking about like, imagine like, if you were, in another incarnation, you may have been the breeze that sways the bamboo.
Right.
You may have been the bamboo,
Mhm.
right, itself. And and how these sixth density beings are like, oh, we thank you so much for sharing, and asking these questions. And like it's like they become alive, like they feel regenerated. And so the more and more that I consistently listen to this and gather with you all, and we're reading it and I'm taking it in, the more I realize I'm like, wow, like this actually is like, even with all its faults and, you know, perceived negativity and challenges, like this is really short and really beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I'm just really, I don't know that I don't like, I really believe that I'm so grateful that I found this community, because I don't know that I would have gotten there. You know, like the other spiritual circles that I was in before I found Law of One, and you know, and all of you were definitely helpful. I will always be forever grateful, right? And I still utilize, you know, a lot of that in my day. It's a part of me, but this was the piece that was missing for me to really grasp onto, you know, the idea that it's like this really is a gift, you know. You know, even though sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So
Yeah.
I'm just really grateful. I'm going to stop now. I talked a lot. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. That was great sharing. And yeah, like I feel much the same way, and for many of the things that you said, you know, and like I have been in, you know, many spiritual groups, and like and read many spiritual works, and really the Law of One and the Confederation channelings are like the highest level, highest quality writings I have seen on the planet, like by far. There are some that approach it like the but they're all channelings. Basically, humans can't write with this much love and this much kindness just so consistently for everyone on everything, like, because like I have read so many, like I've read way well over 1,000 books, and you know, like it's so easy to tell the difference between like human, like I really understand when God said, you know, that the things of like the writings of man are like filthy rags. You know, like when you contrast them, I mean, like not to try to demean anybody, but it's just that they're just not love focused, that they're often wisdom focused, or is just kind of like going around in circles, but it's not helping that grow in love and kindness for all beings. And so I know in my biography, I mentioned that I cannot, as an incarnate third density being, approach that purity of love and kindness that you get from channeled materials, because I am not in, like, you know, incarnate in fifth or sixth density, even if my soul may be from there, but I am incarnate in third density, and so I have, you know, much more variability in terms of my expression. Sometimes I get upset, sometimes, you know, I get hurt, and like I am a human being with limits. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, and one other thing about the Confederation channeling, um, it makes so much more sense in my view than everything else. And because what they're helping us do is to ultimately mix logic with intuition. I mean, because there's a balance there. And if you can mix the logic with your intuition, you can actually, and they say you can actually spiritually evolve a lot quicker than going one or the other route. You know, the logic route is like more on the lines of the service to self path,
Mm-hmm.
but the intuition is more on lines of the service to others path. But if you can get that into logic going with the intuition, and you know, you kind of are starting to in a way balance wisdom with love, and then you can kick in your evolution a lot faster, because sometimes you need your logic to go this, well, this is kind of going overboard here with this you know, love stuff, you know, so and vice versa.
Well, I would like to say that I think that what I remember anyways, intuition is actually um so the difference between the service to self path and the service to others path is that in the service to self path, they close their heart and they don't develop it, which is unconditional love for all beings. And instead, what they do is they develop their third eye. and their intuitive abilities so that they can, one up the
Well,
people
they
around them.
replace the love of others with the love of self.
Well, but yeah, that comes from the lower chakras. Basically, the lower chakras have that. So in the red, red is survival, right? So you're thinking about, me and my food needs, and and then like orange is like, well, well, I guess sexual reproduction is also red, but it's like one-on-one relationships. And there are service to self ways of having one-on-one relationships, and service to others way, like, service to others ways where you're recognizing the divine within yourself and your partner. And so in the same thing at the third ray, the yellow ray, it has to do with group dynamics. And so the service to self person will be high on the group dynamics and the intuition, and that kind of makes the other people in awe of them. It's because they have an edge, they know what's going to happen, they see it before it's coming, and things like that. And
I
that's
don't think you're talking about the same thing I was talking about.
okay. But you're talking about wisdom, okay, and then
Well,
that's
I'm
what you
talking
called
about
logic, and that would
logic
be the
and
Blu-ray.
intuition and the balancing of
the
it.
the Blu-ray has to do with wisdom, but
Open
that,
communication.
or communication, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Open and free communication.
Open and free communication is, yeah, what unblocks it. But yeah, the fifth density is the density of wisdom, and that basically only happens after you're able to shift from space time into time space and actually observe what's happening. Because when you are in space time, like you're incarnate in a body, then you are part of the illusion, and so you can't properly observe the illusion. But in fifth density, people are able to phase, they're able to shapeshift, and they're also able to shift into time space and actually view what's going on without interfering with it.
Okay, well, with what I was talking about is for this density and
Mhm.
speeding up spiritual evolution here.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, you're
maybe I
kind of
just
going into
didn't understand it.
other stuff.
Yeah. So I had a question. Did we want to finish this last question and answer, or we want to leave it for next time?
You should probably leave it to next because it's a pretty long one.
Okay. All right. Sure. So, okay, we still got another 10 minutes. Anything else anyone wants to discuss? We were just talking about self-worthiness. How about Adam? You haven't said much today. Adam? Did you want to contribute a little bit?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My computer's audio keeps going in and out. I think I've got to restart.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
No, I'd like to hear you finish your thought, Andrii. I just wanted to see how you're kind of going to connect it, or if you're connecting it to what I was saying.
Okay, yeah. So in terms of my understanding of the logic, that has, well, I see it more as a wisdom thing, but I guess it could be on a group thing. But it would definitely be because there's light and there's love, right? And then there's, in sixth density we balance love and light. And light is the wisdom or the knowledge aspect, and love is well, the unity aspect, the unconditional surrender and acceptance, and all those things. And so in order to graduate service to others, you need to balance your lower four chakras, as was described. Whereas on the to graduate on the service to self path, it's about balancing the lower three chakras plus the intuitive or the third eye, and that requires what we were just talking about, and feeling worthy. You have to feel worthy in order to open your third eye and have intuitive abilities. Now, there is an interesting difference in terms of that you can have a service to self person who graduates and then goes through, 90 to 100 million years on the service to self path, where they go through the wisdom density, and then but eventually they merge with the service to others because they have all of their other chakras all developed. So they have, because they did the first three and the third, first three densities, and then they did their sixth density. Their intuition they developed while they were in fourth density, and then their wisdom and clear speaking or whatever they developed when they were in fifth density. And so in sixth density, the only chakra that's left is the heart. So their only way of making progress is by learning to love. And so they have to start having third density incarnations where they're learning how to love. And that's kind of how I see it. Whereas, say, a service to others person, ironically, so basically, someone who evolved on the service to self path is more likely to polarize service to others when their hive mind or whatever incarnates in third density. But the opposite is true for someone who evolved on the service to others path, because they developed everything other than the third eye. And so when they incarnate in third density, a lot of the things that they're focusing on is learning how to activate the third eye. And if they activate the third eye without activating the heart, then they end up on a service to self path. That's what happened with Himmler, because he had a service to others higher self, but ended up splitting off into a service to self trajectory because of this exploration into the occult and all that. So yes, at least that's my understanding of it.
You know what Himmler did at the end of World War II, right?
What did he do?
He went to the American general with all this stuff, and like he was going to just be able to pay him off and go away. And the general was just like, get the hell out of here. And then he went and killed himself.
Really?
He thought he was just going to walk away. He thought he could just pay off the Allies and just walk away.
Well, I mean, a lot of them did manage to do that.
Yeah. He got the wrong guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think Himmler was too high of a priority, though.
Maybe.
He was, head of the SS.
Yeah, I know. He was like the second hand to Hitler,
Yeah, like, he kind of ran the final solution.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they talk about Hitler, they're actually talking about Himmler.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
And like their names are so similar. I guess it gets easy to confuse them. But like when they say that Hitler was obsessed with the occult, they're actually talking about Himmler. Because Hitler.
Himmler had to go and run it by Hitler, so Hitler thought all his ideas were just great.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's like, oh, that's top notch. You're going to go to Tibet and Egypt and blah, blah, blah. And
measure people's heads.
You're going to do all this stuff. Great job.
Yeah.
Great thinking.
Well, he did make him the head of the SS, so it must count for
something. He was the right man for that job.
All right.
Well, that's why the Confederation said, Hitler really didn't polarize service to self. He just didn't have it. He couldn't go that far, but a lot of his guys did. So
I've reread it several times, and my most recent kind of understanding of the Hitler thing was that actually it was just that he was too delusional.
Right. He was insane.
Yeah, he was just so absolutely insane at the end that he wasn't able to. What do you call it?
He couldn't have an authentic bias.
Yes,
because the insanity took away that authenticity.
Right. Yeah. So he ended up, basically graduating neutral because he didn't understand what was going on.
In the sinkhole.
In the sinkhole, yeah, and he's in healing from his insanity. Or at least still was in the 80s.
Well, and as is their his higher self, maybe he is on the ultimately on the service to self path, and they're trying to set up an incarnation where it can further explore that, possibly without the insanity of next time.
Who knows? Who knows? You usually, like, people who don't decide, they get the the same veil of forgetting treatment. But yeah, who knows where he will decide to incarnate next? But
Well,
it'll probably be a different planet. It won't be
it's
on
got
Earth.
he's got a higher self, so
Yeah. And so, but it's just anyone who doesn't polarize, especially around now, well, their next stop is incarnating on a different planet.
unless they can,
Unless they're very close. Unless they're very
right, unless
close.
they can fit it in.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we still have people incarnating who were like dogs in a past life. So, I mean, the seniority of vibration can't be too high, but they must be like dogs that were very close to service to others, polarizing or something like this. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, whoever's here has got to have that, that vibratory, that high, whatever the hierarchy of
Seniority of vibration.
seniority of vibration. Yeah.
And so, yeah, we also have, billions of host bodies. And so that kind of opens. So it's
and in
the
a way
top.
that makes this place really disappointing, because we see so many people that are this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, some of these people on this planet probably have been this close for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah,
and they
yes.
just
Or
can't,
million,
can't get over the hump.
Yeah. Well, I
They
mean,
can't,
yeah, for sure.
Get past the illusion.
And we know that
Every
from the
time they get
Confederation.
here, they think this place is real.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we know from the Confederation that a lot of planets that didn't graduate and destroyed themselves, they reincarnated here to try to do better, allegedly.
But we also know that a lot of them just didn't graduate.
Yeah, well, that's why they didn't
graduate.
graduate.
Whether they destroyed their planet or not.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, all right. I guess we'll round it off. Anyone have any closing remarks? Grace, how about you?
Okay, I have a quick one. I have a quick question.
Sure.
I think I've already answered my question. Maybe I just want to share it and get others selves like in the meeting. All of your kind of like maybe experiences or whatever there's time for. This whole like service to self, service to others, right? Like I have this tendency to see it as like, okay, service to self is boundaries and self-care, right? And service to others is like, oh, so for me in my life, the main focus for me with service to others is I live with my mom, I take care of her, right? We have this little dog, she's elderly, and I love doing it, right? I struggle with it, but I, from a very young age, I've just always had this sense that this is why, like, this is something I need to fulfill in my life, right? And
okay,
yeah, and so so it's interesting because working at the market, I'm seeing so there's been a shift in I'm starting to pray for because I see how the husband operates. Like he's like the master of efficiency. He really is. Like, and I see it play out in front of him. Like, oh my God, that's the whole work smart, not hard thing, right? And I was talking to my friend about it tonight and about this efficiency thing, and she's like, let me guess, is he really like he's moving slowly when he's doing what he's doing? I'm like, yeah, but it's fast because of the efficiency. I said, and I'm starting to realize, like, I think that because I allow myself, so if I have to be at work at 10, I'm getting up at 5, right? To complete everything that I need to do for my mom, to set her up for the day, with our dog for the day, to set me up for my day and for the evening for when I come home. So things are, and I'm thinking like, that's a long time. Like I only need an hour and a half to get to work. So why do I need 3.5 hours in the morning? Like, I feel like this is not, because what I've started doing is timing things. How long does it actually take me to, get her ready in the morning to be at the breakfast table? How long does it actually, and I'm like, this isn't adding up. Something's not adding up. Like, it shouldn't be taking me this long. And I've been praying for like, like it hasn't actually been words, it's been more like a feeling. That's something else that has been changing, is like the prayer is less words and more like observational, I guess, visual, maybe, I guess I'm trying to say. And and like a yearning, I guess. And this morning I was like, okay, so let's just, today's Friday, so the past 3 mornings, Wednesday, Thursday, and this morning, there was these things happening where I'm like, don't, like, why would you go take her coffee right now with single-handedly, like, full hands in, full hands out kind of thing, right? I guess that's a restaurant term, right? But
Right.
it's a work term too. You know that, Andrii, right?
Right.
So, and I'm noticing where I'm like, okay, like focus. I'm not focused. I'm not in the present. I'm not in the present. So I think what I'm realizing, and I'm asking if anyone else has had this experience or like, so this type of thing that I'm trying to do, where it's like, I want to make sure that my mom has everything she needs before I leave the house, and my dog too, but I also need to get to work. But I also want to get as much sleep as I can, because that's important, right? And if, like if I need 9 hours sleep, that doesn't leave me a lot of leisure time to do the things that are important to me, like these meetings, and still wake up in the morning refreshed and and be able to do what I need to do. So I think I'm answering my own question. Like, so in service, like service to self, me getting what I need by making the morning process more efficient, right? That's also serving my mother. So I'm also like, I'm service to, that's serving me to get to work where I'm not exhausted and needing to have 4 coffees. And so, yeah, I'm just curious if anyone else is that, like, I'm hearing saying, yeah, like I'm getting the feeling that it's like, yep, Grace, yep, we've been there. Yep. So I guess, yeah, that was what came to mind. I didn't want to leave the meeting without expressing that and hopefully getting some feedback.
It looks like Bill has something to say.
Well, I mean, just the basic line between service to self and service to others, because you got to remember, you can't do for others what you don't do for yourself. And that's like, if you can't love yourself, if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't have compassion on yourself and these things, you can't do it for others. So self-care is very important. Really the ultimate difference between the two paths is not what you do for yourself. It's, like they said, the one path is love and acceptance, and the other one is separation and control. And once you start to get into that control boundaries, if you're really on this service to self path, you are literally starting to control and manipulate and do things to get others to do what you want done for yourself. And you're not doing it in a truthful manner. I mean, manipulation is, the very foundation of manipulation is deception. And so that's the always the boundaries between those two things. I would always go, you start to control, manipulate, then you're getting into that service to self path.
Yeah, I would agree with Bill, but I would also say that the service to self path, it's 95% service to self and 5% service to others or less. And the service to others path is 51% service to others, but still 49% or less service to self. You still have to take care of yourself enough that you can be of service to others. You still have a human body, and you don't even have to think about it as this is me. You can think about it and I'm taking care of me. You can think about it as I'm taking care of this body that was given to me by the Creator to be of service to others. and so it requires enough sleep so that it can function well, so that it can be nice to people, so it can properly perform its duties. And it's important to have some efficiency in the morning routine, in order for it to be able to do all the tasks that it wants, for me to be of service to others. And at least like that's how I often look at it. And that makes it easier for me, because I'm like, okay, I got this vessel, this Homo sapien vessel, and I have to take care of it in order for me to be able to do the service to others things that I want to do for others. And that includes, going to sleep on time, and taking the proper supplements, and getting the right exercise, and things like that. But always with the focus on, I'm doing this so that I can be of greater service to others. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, when we're thrown like quantifiers like 51%, 95%, that kind of, that's kind of like a Don Elkins trip, but he did get it from that one guy who wrote those books in the 1880s or 90s. That's literally where he got that figure. But when I look at a quantifier like that, I go, well, what does 51% mean? And to me, I've kind of basically, for myself, I've kind of said, well, to me, I think that means is 51% of the time I'm thinking of others instead of myself. So literally because the goal of this spiritual evolution is to move us closer, going up from these levels and the densities. And ultimately, we're going to once we go from 7th to 8th density, that's when we get reabsorbed back into unity consciousness. That's kind of what I call it, or whatever the creator is. And so just this little 51% thinking of others, to me, that's why I quantify it like that, as thinking of others, is just that little push we're making at this spiritual level, like in a video game, this level that we're just pushing ourselves just to start of that unity consciousness. Because as we get up through the densities, the 4, 5, 6, that 51% will go higher and higher and higher until you're like thinking about everybody all the time, and not even really thinking about yourself, because you're just you're just the creator and a part of everything. So it's just that little nudge to unity consciousness, and that's how I see it. It's like, okay, how can I quantify this 51%? And that's, to me, it's thinking of others more than myself.
All right, Grace. So, do you have any? Did that help at all? Our reflections?
I'm actually, yeah, no, that really helped. Like, that helps so much. It helps like a lot, like, like, yeah, no, that really helped a lot. There's a lot of, I don't know if synchronicity is the word for it, but there's changes happening. There's a vibe, there's an energy coming into my life that I don't know. I think it's always been there. I'm just ready to receive it now, and work in a way that is like asking for intuitive thought and put it into action. And I thank you all so much. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you as well. All right, and with that, go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the infinite power and the infinite peace of the infinite creator within you and all around you, my friends. Adonai Vasu Baragus. I ended the stream. All right.